Welcome to the first episode of the Divine Sovereign Beings podcast. My name is Jace.
And my name is Alexis.
And we are extremely excited to bring to you this new project that we've been working on. We've been spending the past couple days setting up this little studio that we have here. There was a lot of technical work that had to go into it, but we finally have what seems to be our best setup, so we're very excited.
And thank you for all the work that you did do to create this setup, because I know how it can be, and I appreciate you putting in that effort.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And you too. It was fun. It was fun.
Good.
And we're here now. We got it. We're
now. You're here now. We're here now. This is really happening. This is the first episode of our podcast. We've been working on this. We've been working on this in our minds for about 2 years, I would say now.
Yeah. And so you might notice that we are not in a van at the moment. So is there something that you want to tell everybody, Alexis?
Yeah, I think we've been letting people wait long enough to find out that we have indeed secured a home. And we would also like to tell you where it is, because it is such a substantial and exciting location in the United States. And we're very proud to be a part of the community here. So without further ado, do a little drum roll. And reveal to you the sunny, beautiful vortex of Sedona, Arizona. We have been gifted a beautiful place from a friend of ours in Sedona. We are right next to the creek. It is incredible. And we just did a great hike today, and we would highly recommend, if you've never been to Sedona, to come visit, because we can advocate that it's really a fun time. There is plenty of magic going on here, and basically everyone who does come here knows that, and they have that in mind, instead of it just being like some secrets that, the really woke people in your community know about, the woke places or vortexes in your area. Everybody who comes here knows that that's what this place is all about. And so that's a really cool fact about the place and why we like it so much, because it's the intention and the knowing is really here.
I gotta say, we've been here several times in the past year that we've been in the van, and every time I put so much intention and prayer into manifesting a place here. I've wanted to live here ever since I first came here years ago, and every time I've come back, I've just put in that intention. So to finally get that from the universe in such a divine, synchronous, harmonious way is just such a blessing. And we're so grateful to our friend who really kind of hooked us up with this place here. And I don't want to say their name just for their anonymity, but you know who you are, and we're extremely grateful to you.
Extremely grateful. And Apollo loves it here too. He loves having his own little yard and a patio, and he is a member of the Divine Sovereign Beings team, a member of our household, and he will also be inputting his own audio to the podcast at times that we cannot predict. So we just thought we'd let you know ahead of time that Apollo's energy is very strong here. And
yeah, we should probably just get him his own mic now.
We really want to. I'm just might hook up a little lapel mic so he can have his opinions known, because he definitely seems to have a lot of opinions.
He knows we're talking about him right now. He's just staring at us.
You just got to wait to go outside right now, okay? We're going to do podcasts, and we'll go play outside. Okay.
Well.
So, really excited to bring this project to you. We have a certain layout that we're kind of going to work with right now. First thing we want to do is, and we want to do with this every show, is highlight another conscious creator, a friend of ours that is creating a product or a service that we would like to highlight and share with the greater community, because we're more about community instead of competition here. We really want to move into that new paradigm in the way that we feel is appropriate. And so to highlight our very first creator, I'm going to read to you a small excerpt about what they bring to the table, to the community, and I just want to make sure I nail it so all of the important things are there. So let's talk about our first conscious creators. So the highlighted creators for this episode of the Divine Sovereign Beings podcast is Hopewell Farm, LLC. Their full spectrum CBD oil salve and pre-rolls have been consciously created to stay the way nature intended. Real high quality full spectrum CBD oil means we don't strip out the hemp derived THC nor the additional CBDs such as CBN, which can help fully activate your endocannabinoid system.
Apollo's excited about that full spectrum oil.
Love it. And the endocannabinoid system, if you haven't heard of it, it's a doozy. It's something we all have and should probably be feeding. So gas station and most popular producers don't always give you that level of purity as well as the third-party lab-tested concentration. Often you're only getting 50 to 60% of what the bottle is marked, if that much at all. The oils are great for anyone that you may want to consider feeding. They're good for anyone, and you may want to consider feeding your endocannabinoid system for a few months to see for yourself the effects. CBD oil is more commonly used for people with nervous system, brain, and gut issues, but has the ability to nurture everyone. Hopewell Farm has created a service for their friends and themselves to have a conscious, truthful, and safe creation. They also offer a salve that can help even open wounds with CBD extract and comfrey herb. If you or your family in the United States need a trustworthy source that will mail to your door, we genuinely know and trust Hopewell Farm. Their website and Facebook links are going to be in the description below. And a big thank you to the commitment of these creators to serve humanity. And now we shall begin with the rest of our show.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I want to reiterate, these guys are awesome at Hopewell Farms. We're good friends with them, and they make an excellent product. And it's really important with all the CBD oil out on the market to know that yours is coming from a place that is creating it in the most bioavailable and healthy way. Because there's a lot of CBD out there that is mismarketed and mislabeled and is kind of more of a gimmick.
Yeah.
And the full spectrum oil is that's so much better because you're getting all of what the plant has to offer, aside from the THC, But a lot of these brands that are putting stuff out there are not even giving you what they're telling you they're giving you. So
yeah, and they're cutting it, and they are cutting corners, and it's not cool because really, this is such a beautiful plant. It gives so much, the hemp plant. It has so many other properties. I'd love to highlight other creators who are also working with the hemp plant in other ways, because I feel like that's where this huge amount of energy is flooding towards. The hemp has so much potential to offer us on this planet. And it's also maybe not even from this planet, which is another reason why I think it's awesome. But our bodies are built to process it, and people who are taking it, sometimes in the beginning they notice a really big effect. They're like, wow, I feel way better, and then it kind of drifts off over time because they're now feeding that system and things have kind of come into equilibrium. But if you've been considering it and you really want to try it, I would highly recommend. The prices are actually lower than most, and their quality is much higher, and truly their intention is to actually help people, and they are a mom and pop kind of place. So we're excited to feature them, and we hope that you will, consider their product if that's what's been on your mind. It's something that we trust. So, and Apollo has now made his appearance on the podcast.
Apollo's kind of like a shark when he's going crazy and you pick him up and hold him on his back and turn him upside down. He just goes right to sleep. So
he just kind of gets a little droopy.
Yeah.
So there you go. So what else we want to do on the show, Jason and I have decided, is that he's going to be bringing up some things that I haven't seen. Some of them I haven't seen, and I'm going to be bringing up some things that he hasn't seen, and we're going to bring it up for all of us here in this space right here on the screen. So do you want to get into our first talking point for our first ever episode?
Do it. Yeah, and that first talking point has to do with the major astrological and cosmic alignments that are going on today. So let's pull that up, and then you can tell us a little more about it, because you are the space weather expert.
I mean,
oh, that's not the right thing.
Might think so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Well, okay, this is the first time we're really, really doing this. So there might be. Oh no, that's the wrong picture. I'm just gonna block out Alexis's face.
Sedona.
How am I gonna do this? Okay, wait. You know, it's always got to work when you're testing it, and then not when you actually want to do it. But here we go. I'm getting it to work.
All right, we got it.
Fixed it. There we go.
Did it.
This is what it's supposed to look like.
Here we go. So let's talk about this real fast. Just for your information, for those of you who are following astrology and those of you who may not be, I wanted to highlight there is a substantial astrological thing happening today. Today is January 12th, 2020, and Saturn is conjuncting Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. So that has a lot to do with the structure of our society. So again, I'm going to read this little excerpt off of the article for you. I have it here on my phone so I don't have to squint, you know. And so, how will Saturn conjunct Pluto 2020 affect us? So, nice short little thing. On a global level, we may expect to see big shifts in things such as governments, political boundaries, economic happenings, or far-reaching advancements in technology or thought. As with most things, we may not realize the impact of some of these shifts until much later. Because again, these are the outer planets. They move a lot slower. This particular grouping hasn't happened for over 500 years.
That's crazy.
And the last time that this thing happened, Martin Luther made a big move in the Catholic Church, basically.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Broke off.
I knew it was very significant in history.
It was significant.
I didn't know it was Martin
So
Luther.
this last time, a big thing was a shift in kind of the control structure, which then was more of the religious control structure.
Yeah.
So now in our world, what our control structure kind of looks like is less of the religion, even though that's definitely still a part of it. There is still a spiritual, religious sort of control thing going on. But as most of us know, the biggest control structure seems to be the United States, and again, then even deeper, which is kind of where Pluto goes, is the shadow government and the mafia and so on. So most of us are expecting 2020 to kind of be the enlightenment and bringing to light and justice of this shadowy realm and control structures. So this day is marking where that is expected to kind of put things into motion for the energies of our planet and that we're in. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to follow the next few days. And again, since this is kind of a big movement, it's going to really, the energy of this is going to kind of cover the entire year. And then 500 some years from now, they're going to be like, oh, that was the time when everyone found out that the world's being run by a satanic Luciferian mafia or whatever. And that might be what happens. I don't know. But it's significant. If you've been feeling weird, we also just had a lunar eclipse on the 10th and a full moon and a lunar eclipse. So that was in Cancer. That makes people emotional. So if you're feeling a little weird.
Yeah, the past couple days, I mean, moving to a new place does that to you. But
yeah.
Aside from that, because we're very happy and comfortable and grounded here.
Yeah.
The energy is like, I feel like me personally, I've been so emotionally reactive like the past couple days, and I'm rarely ever like that. And it's like, it's
You're
been
usually
intense.
my rock when I'm getting a little woo.
Yeah.
But we have to be each other's
You've been my
rock
rock.
sometime.
Thank you.
We both have shed some tears for sure. So if you've been feeling a little off, that might be why, because this is a big deal. There was many meditations even today to bring a positive intention to this shift. So personally, we'd like to send an intention for world peace, world love.
Yes.
And the justice and the revealing of truth and allowing people to come into their own power and their own knowingness and releasing parasitic control structures from us. So we may do cool projects and, be creative in any which way that we want without having to fight tooth and nail to do it.
And it was 111 yesterday, so that makes it even cooler.
Yes.
That's like 2 major days in a row that are having these major
That's like
impacts.
all three, like boom, 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 3 days in a row.
Yeah. It's pretty
So
awesome.
we thought we'd tell you that and inform you a little bit. And I guess now we're going to move into our next talking point that we wanted to bring to you,
Yeah.
which
so
is related.
This is something that I brought over, and I feel like this is super related to what you're talking about with the major world changes and collapses of like structure, like negative power structures that are going on around the planet right now. So of course, like the biggest thing that's in the news at the moment is Iran and everything that's been happening with Iran. And this is like even closer to home for me because I am part Iranian and I have that like history in my family. And so it's interesting to see what's going on now and seeing the very extreme polarized opinions that are being adopted by like the society right now, you know. And what I thought was really interesting when the operation that killed Soleimani was conducted was, you know, there was this big push by the media to make it look like it was the worst thing that we could have done. Like it was Trump starting World War III, how irresponsible, like, you know, and then on top of that, like, oh, you're messing with the Iranian people. Like it's better for their democracy for us not to interfere. And honestly, those people don't know what they're talking about because what's been occurring in Iran is, well, their government, first of all, is not a real democracy. It's a democracy on paper, but if you look at the complicated power structure in Iran, it's completely run by the religious Islamic State. And you have the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, who is like in charge of everything. Like he tells everybody what to do, basically. And so I thought it was super interesting that today or yesterday, these articles are coming up talking about how there are protests going on in Tehran, the capital right now, calling for the Ayatollah's resignation, which is huge because now that the media is admitting it, now people are like, oh, wow, like the death of Soleimani was actually really critical to the collapse of this like very dark regime.
Yeah.
And the people, like I can't tell you how many things I've seen from the Iranian people like online saying, yo, your media is telling you the wrong thing. We actually really are supportive of the end of this regime. Like, thank you, America. Thank you, Trump. Of course, you know, you have people on both sides, but the majority of like the Iranian people are not supportive of the regime. So yeah, I think that's super cool. And I think it's cool that this is happening right at the same time as these cosmic alignments that are happening that are indicating this kind of stuff to happen. And when I say this is cool, of course, anybody that is involved in this, I'm not saying that war or death is cool at all. Please don't get me wrong. I'm saying that the Iranian people taking back their country is a good thing ultimately, and that's what I believe. So, and it makes me happy to think that I might be able to visit Iran within my lifetime too, because that's something I've always wanted to do, and it's never been a possibility. Thank you for adjusting that. Hasn't been a possibility since we've been here. You messed up my mouse, yo.
Sorry. I was trying to get rid of the ad, but it's just...
It's okay. Ads are a natural part of the internet. They're like weeds.
I'm also trying to push you into frame because we can barely see you.
My bad.
Not to put any...
Just tell me.
I'm just
getting carried away in
I know.
my thoughts.
And it's important to me that this is all happening because I've met your family, of course, and it's the Iranian trauma in a way is kind of very present in your family through generations. And they've been affected by it personally, what's been going on there. And you as a child have even done you've been awarded with your ability to do research and present the drama of Iran, even when you were a kid. So this has been a part of you. You've been watching this since you were wee little. And your family has. So it means a lot to us to see what is going on, and that there is at least two sides to the story, and that there is voices being heard about this from Iran, as well as, random people in the USA who are making assumptions based off of what they saw on mainstream media. So that's how things go. And we wanted to offer our voices and our opinions about these things because, again, we have every right to. Thankfully, we are in that country and we have those rights still. And we believe that we want people who are really experiencing it firsthand to come forward and speak about it. We want more of the conversation to be truthful because these are people's lives. And this drama between these two countries especially is obviously what we're being focused on right now, what we're being forced to watch. And as it's like your family's livelihood in a way, and they're, it's your ancestry that's also being affected by it. You are part of both countries now. So it's a personal investment to keep watching this. And I'm glad that these astrological and cosmic shifts are bringing whatever this is to the surface and to be discussed publicly in free speech. So we're going to definitely be watching it. And I'm glad that you brought this as part of our first podcast.
Yeah. It's
so what is it that you actually brought up? Because this article that you brought
up was
is cool.
An article, and the formatting's it's a little. Let me see if I can scroll out a little bit. There we go. Protesters in Tehran clash with riot police as they demand the Ayatollah resigns and call for regime change after Iran finally. Oh my God, our spazzy dog! What are you doing? Oh my God, he's going full spaz mode. He doesn't even have a toy. He's just going. Hey, you okay?
Hi.
He's so happy.
Oh boy.
He's excited. Good energy.
Podcasts today are fun.
Podcasts.
Okay.
He loves it. Got to get him his own mic. So specifically what prompted this protest was that Iran admitted to accidentally shooting down a passenger jet, killing 176 primarily Iranians. And what's interesting, as a weird connection, they said that several of the Iranians on the plane held Canadian citizenship.
What?
Yeah, not that like specifically means anything, but her being Canadian.
That's weird.
Derived. It just an interesting synchronicity.
We're all getting tied in now. It's personal for me now. Basically,
with Iran in a extreme state of war. They accidentally shot down one of their own planes, and who knows? I mean, who knows what was accident, what was not? But the fact is that they admitted to shooting it down, and so that's what sparked primarily that's what sparked the protest. At least that's what the media is telling us.
Right.
So,
which we take with a grain of salt, as always.
Yeah, and this is also right in line with everything that Q has been telling us for the past year or more. Q said after North Korea. So if you don't know who Q is, we'll get into that a little later. But for those that do know who Q is, after the North Korea peace incident that happened, Q had said that Iran would be next, and then this happened, several months later. So it's tied in with that too. And then. Anything else you want to say before I move on? Oh my God, Apollo, what are you doing?
I think, oh no, he knocked
out. Not the projector.
Our projector.
Oh, we unplugged it. Okay, let me go plug it in. Hold on.
Our son is he's been rebelling against us creating this podcast the whole time because it's taking even less of our time with him. Oh. Yeah, you're in trouble now. Okay.
We're getting the background back up. All right, there we go. So, all right, next story. Thank you for being patient with us. This is a learning curve, but I think we're doing good. So to segue, I think you had an article you wanted to share that
I did.
I might have had a sneak peek at.
Yes, we've been sneak peeking, even though we're not supposed to. So, I saw this article the other day, and I don't know if you saw it, but it says Iran has a fleet of killer dolphins trained to blow up ships in suicide attacks. So, I feel like there is a layer of chaos that occurs with this whole warmongering that we're seeing in the news. And I don't know why dolphins have been brought into it, and I don't know if this is true, but to strap explosives to dolphins to kill people, and also they say they would strap as some type of weapon, like a harpoon,
They literally
to their
would
bodies
they would
to
strap
spear
harpoons.
and attack divers that are coming in. Iran is on the sea; it is not on like an ocean. So these, there are dolphins there, but the ridiculousness, like, what is your first impression of this?
Well,
The happy dolphin
my first
picture
impression
is the
is
savage part.
I don't doubt that this is possible.
Yeah.
But I question why this is even an article right now. Like
Why it's relevant.
what's the intent behind this? Is it to create fear? Because it's not doing a very good job. But what's also funny about this is not only are they, a fleet of killer dolphins, but they were trained originally by Soviet Russia, and Iran bought them back in the Islamic Republic bought them in the year 2000. And so I was
these are
like
20-year-old dolphins.
I was like trying to picture how this deal went down. Like, you have this old mad scientist who they actually reference in the article. They're like, this trade happened because this mad scientist guy was basically fired from the Soviet Union, or the program ended or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And so the Iranians came in and swooped him up. But I picture the scientist guy like taking the government personnel to the lab, and they go in like some fancy door, and it opens up, and it's this giant indoor aquarium, probably like 20 stories underground, with dolphins, and they have like harpoons strapped to them because they probably want a demonstration, right?
It's like
So
a
they're
Dr. Evil
okay.
thing, like literally sharks with friggin' laser beams
Yeah.
attached to their heads.
That's why I'm like, I don't doubt that this has been tried and it's possible, but I kind of doubt that this is like something that's actually
Well, they were
relevant.
bought 20 years ago, which is something I didn't know. So
Yeah.
these dolphins are a little bit older and
Yeah.
maybe a little less aggressive.
Yeah, I don't even know what a dolphin's lifespan is, the year 2000. And what this also brought up for me was like, how much do the dolphins know what they're doing?
Yeah.
Like, are these, what I imagine they do is that they train the dolphins to identify
To
a submarine
swim aggressively towards a submarine.
and swim towards the submarine to like get a treat or whatever, and then probably press a button that gets them a treat when they practice it, and then when they actually send them off, that button explodes.
Yes.
That,
The ethics are really bad on this one because they
but
don't
like,
know
how much do the
what they're
dolphins
doing.
know?
Yeah.
Because dolphins are really smart. Like, some people say they're smarter than people. They're definitely more telepathic than people. So are
can
these evil dolphins?
Negative. And
I mean,
it could be. I mean, what are the personalities of these dolphins? What did this person do to these dolphins? Overall, it's just really, really twisted.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know
Something out of
why
Austin
something like
Powers.
this was added, and I really hope that these dolphins do not exist, and this is just some really weird story that was made up and pushed in our media. But my heart goes out to these dolphins. I really hope that they can be saved and rehabilitated, but also
Yes.
all these people who are in this war right now. So dolphins are also involved. There's many sentient beings involved in this interesting.
I don't know if you can see Apollo, but he's literally fallen asleep with his head like between his back legs. I don't even know what he's doing. It's like a yoga pose, but he fell asleep.
Just move these doodads. Oh, there he goes.
No.
He's finally worn
Yes,
himself
okay.
out. Having a 1-year-old pit bull. Well, let's talk about that. for a second.
Well, so, okay, in dog years, he'd be like 7, right? But he still feels like a toddler to me.
Yeah, Apollo has just, we were pretty sure, reached a year around the sun. We didn't know how old he was exactly when we got him. We got him from outside of a grocery store. A woman was giving away these puppies that were very, very emaciated. Like, they were very small, clearly starving, all hunched in on themselves because they're so hungry. And then she had just fed them adult dog food, so their bellies were swollen. It was a mess. And we rescued him from that situation, made sure all those other puppies had a place to go. And we've been with him and raising him in the van. He's like an untouched, he is truly an example of a divine sovereign being in our opinion. He is untouched, and in all ways that people do alter dogs. I know some of you may have opinions about that, and I'm bringing this up with knowing that in mind, but that was decisions that we made, which was basically just to let him live and just see how it went. And we believe that Spirit brought us this little beautiful gem, and we believe that Spirit will take him away, and whatever it is that his life path is, it's kind of up to him. And we wanted to experiment with that, and we haven't caused him any danger or any harm in doing so. We've taken good care of him, but he has grown to be a very colorful, driven, self-directed, curious young man, and he is dealing with hormones that he's not dealt with before, and he is, he has his own thing going on, and he is liking the house. He really enjoys the house, and we look forward to taking him on more hikes.
Having Apollo has really taught me the importance and value of positive reinforcement training over negative reinforcement training. Excuse me. I've owned a lot of dogs over my life, like with my family.
Owned.
Oh, yeah. See, exactly there. There's another one of those words I've made acquaintance with.
Yeah.
I've roommated with many dogs over my life.
You've lived amongst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I get what you're saying. Like, owned is one of those things.
I'm just saying, there it is. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're kind of trying to avoid that.
But some people would argue, yeah, I own my dog. Like, I know people that would be that. And, like, sure, legally, I'll say, like, I own my dog. But from a like spiritual metaphysical standpoint, I don't think I own anything, right? So I don't own my dog. I don't even own like my body. I don't know. Like that's such a weird word to me. It's a legal thing that's been kind of superimposed upon our society.
These are the kinds of thoughts and conversations we have all the time. So that's why we made a podcast, because we were like, hey, maybe.
But it's so yeah. I've worked with a lot of dogs, and most of my life, most of the advice that I've gotten with dogs from family, friends, strangers, dog trainers has always been, well, you need to be alpha over your dog. You need to like have ownership. You need to command like the energy with the dog. And it's with a lot of people, it's a very forceful thing. Some people can make that work in like a harmonious way. But a lot of times that style of training has to be done through negative reinforcement, like punishing the dog. And with Apollo, it's been such a spiritual lesson for us because he does not respond at all to negative reinforcement. Like it just makes him go crazier. So
or
like,
he just stares at you like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like it just doesn't work. And that's good because it's really taught us like positive reinforcement and the value of positive reinforcement. And it's still been a journey for us. We're still working with them. And now that we're in a house, it's a whole different ball game because we can work with them in a whole different way that we weren't able to when we were living mobily. And yeah, it's really awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing the man that Apollo is going to become one day.
Me too. I'm looking forward to him kind of chilling out a little bit. He has a lot of energy, but that's okay. He's a vibrant 1-year-old puppy. And it's also shown me areas in my life where I've received negative reinforcement and how that's been a part of my life and been a part of forming my behaviors, and how I was naturally going in that direction with him because that's kind of what I knew. And it really made me evaluate my own life a lot and what I experienced growing up in school and sports and my family and everything. So if you've never had a pet and, you want one, I would advise you to make that intention known. Be like, hey, I would receive a companion, a animal companion into my life. If that's meant to be, I would receive them and I will accept them in the most natural way possible. And that's sort of what I made my intention. And I was meditating, and then that notice that there's puppies over here. We got to go check them out. And that's what happened. That's how we got them. So it's all about your intention, just like with this house. And so that's another thing we hope to be able to, I don't know, model or portray or share about through this podcast. And I think we've been doing that in our social medias and so on. But
Yeah.
we just thought we'd throw that information in there for you because a lot of people love Apollo, and he's kind of our mascot in a way, and our sweet baby boy.
We've had so many people tell us that he needs to be like the center of our branding.
Yeah.
like here's a
like
fun
a
story.
commodity.
On my birthday last year,
She's sweet.
we were hanging out at a bar in Ojai, and we ended up meeting the drummer from the Temptations. The old
Who pulled up on his motorcycle.
Yeah, and he wasn't an original band member. He was like the current touring member, but he was like in love with Apollo, and he was like, "You guys, like, I can see it. Like, he needs to be on sweatshirts, and he's got to have his own Instagram, and he's got to have the full deal, and he's gonna be famous." And we're like, we're okay with Apollo being famous and us just being like the background. Like, that sounds nice.
So maybe that'll happen. Maybe that'll be our new podcast logo, was just going to be Apollo's face, because I think he's made more noises than we have in this first episode.
Yeah.
And he's going to sleep through the rest of it.
So funny.
Okay.
Yeah, sleep over there. Okay. So next thing. So
Okay.
I'm gonna switch up what we discussed the order was, just to interject a meme, because I think it's good timing. My meme. I'm going to share my meme now instead of sharing my meme later.
Meme culture is a big part of our day.
And actually, I have to correct myself. It's not really a meme. It's kind of just a funny picture. But
Okay.
pretty sure.
Get ready, everybody.
Sure I saw our friend Amber post this. But anyway, here we go. I'll pull up this first because I want to get your reaction.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, bam! The most awkward.
What is that?
To take a picture of a seal. Oh, I mean, this is the.
Is that the top of its head?
This is a new aquatic intelligent life form that they just discovered off the coast of Japan.
Oh, look at those little whiskers. It's the top of its head, right? Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
look at those big old eyes. That's so funny.
Isn't that cute?
That's a water puppy.
Oh my god, it is totally a water puppy. I feel like Apollo is like a seal.
There you go. See, it's not all about war. Sometimes we're gonna add memes and everything into the podcast for sure. We want to bring laughter, because we do a lot of laughing, and we want to laugh with more people instead of just by ourselves sometimes.
Yes. And I feel like we need more laughter
Yes.
in like this kind of general community, right? Like this community
We
does
laugh.
a lot of like really intense digging and investigating and processing, and sometimes it's good to just kick back and relax and enjoy a laugh and yeah. Anyway,
We've got another one planned for this podcast. Just hold on tight, because there's another one on its way.
so you ready for the next thing?
I'm ready for the next
Okay,
thing.
this is my
thing or your thing?
This is my thing.
Okay, this is the surprise.
This is the surprise.
Another surprise.
Like, the intention with this is that we don't see each other's articles beforehand, but because we kind of discussed this, we ended up knowing. But this one I've kept a secret, and I even told her not to go on Facebook because I posted this and I didn't want her to see it. So she hasn't been on Facebook.
Even go on Facebook today.
So hopefully you get a kick out of this. But it's not funny.
It's
Just a heads up, it's not funny. I'm just laughing. It's just, I think it's something cool.
all right.
It's like something that I've been waiting to happen that finally happened.
Okay.
And yeah. Anyway, okay. So
Show me.
Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, QAnon is real.
What?
Yes, they literally discussed Q on Joe Rogan. I've been waiting for this.
Did you watch it?
I watched most of it. I was going to play like the first minute if you want to see.
Oh my God. I'm nervous.
It's interesting.
The Joe Rogan podcast is basically, in my opinion, become the people's disclosure platform. in a lot of ways, because they've had Navy pilots come on and be like, yeah, UFOs are real. I saw it. I chased it. And they're like, yeah, we really just got to get over ourselves and be serious about this stuff because it's happening. And it's really about this psychologically. Like, my brain goes to, okay, how are they forming? What is the psychology behind this? What's the sociology behind this? How are they forming public opinion?
Exactly.
And they've pushed almost like millions of people towards this podcast, and
It's
now
get more views than mainstream
it seems like
networks.
Each show has more of a purpose about forming public opinion about these more conspiratorial concepts that you and I have been talking about and reading about for years. Many of you have too, I'm sure, even more years than us, because again, we're not very old. But yeah, I'm shocked, actually. This was a really good surprise.
I know. I was excited. And I watched it last night, and you almost walked in the room like, well, you did walk in the room. I had to pause it every time, but I did a good job.
I can't believe you were able to keep this a secret from me
know,
from like
right?
a whole day.
Do you want to watch it now?
Okay.
We'll go as long as you want. I think the most important part's in the first like 2 minutes.
Okay, probably yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, let's hope the volume for this goes well, and that it's not too loud.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm nervous.
What's happening right now is we're at a point now where more people don't trust the mainstream information coming in more than ever, and it's gotten to the point it's snowballing, where there's an army. They're called anons, QAnons, that they're anonymous, but they're all on the same track, looking for the truth, digging, making YouTube channels. Boom, there's all these YouTube, and they're all popping up. They're becoming the new news, the real news. No commercials, no bullshit motherfuckers.
No advertisement stuff. Yeah.
No, none of those. I mean, look at the news these days. Look at the news. Look what they're saying.
But who's watching
over
that,
and
Eddie?
over? Nobody.
No one's
but
really
over
fucking
and over.
what, the news
over
news?
and over. They're wrong about everything, over and over. 3 years of Trump's a Russian agent. They gave Trump the Russian. That's the worst thing you could give a politician. He's a Russian agent. You can get killed for that shit. They gave him the worst shit. They gave him Russia, racism, rape.
Nothing.
They gave him all that shit. Nothing stuck. Nothing stuck. But if they could do that to the president, they could do that to anybody.
It's the first time we've ever really seen that being done to a president.
Yeah, I know. Dude, if they could do that to him, they could do that to anybody.
Right, but it's interesting because he's the first president ever that's made like an assault on the media. And instead of like proving their integrity and being unflappable and sticking to the tightest journalistic standards, they've actually slipped.
Yeah. No matter what Trump does, they take the opposite stance. No matter what.
But it's also happening at the same time. See, one of the ways that Trump got a lot of attention when he was running for president is being outrageous.
Yep.
So they would cover him. So all these news channels that thought they were going to expose him for being a jerk or for saying crazy things.
They shot themselves
so they
in
were
the
going to cover him. They just made him more and more popular.
Yeah, you're right.
So their business grew from making fun of him, from talking shit about him, from saying he's going to be impeached, from saying he's going to be in jail. That was a part of their business. And then it stayed a part of their business when he started calling them fake news.
Yep. Yeah.
And so now, instead of being like at the tightest of journalistic standards, they have actually resorted to a lot of clickbaity shit because now people aren't really reading regular newspapers anymore. And they're...
I just want to say real quick, that's like such a good point that I feel like people haven't said enough, that, you know, Trump obviously has publicly attacked the media a lot for being fraudulent. If the media was going to respond in an honest way to that, they would tighten their journalistic standards so much. They would make sure their journalism was impeccable. But instead, there's been like the most amount of misreporting by mainstream media like ever in the past few years. So many lies. So that's a really good point. I'm going to keep going if you're cool.
Okay, I'm ready.
They're almost at the part where they talk about
I'm waiting to get to the juicy part.
They're only watching like short clips online.
And now people are out.
Paying attention, and a lot of people are out.
They're out there. Oh, this is all bullshit. He was right.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like Trump, you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah, but even if you hate Trump, think about this. If Trump didn't win, the person that would be president right now would have a body count. Think about that shit. You'd rather have a person with a body count than Trump, just because he's arrogant and overconfident and all that shit. He's a badass businessman. The economy is better than ever. Unemployment better than ever. That's what we have a president here for, to make our country
Joe doesn't
better,
dispute
more
this either.
prosperous.
Why
And that's
don't
what
you
he's
get him-
doing.
Would you wear a MAGA hat?
It's too dangerous. Are you kidding?
Joe believes all this.
Dude,
He just
if I
can't
wear a
say
MAGA
it.
hat, I'd be like looking over my. If you wear a red hat and it says "Make America Great Again,"
If
you
you
can
wear a
get
red hat-
killed.
If you just
can
wear a
get killed.
red hat that says USA, they'll punch you.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
totally.
used to wear one. It had a
It
small
better-
red
it better,
flag.
it better have a thief.
Dude,
People
my
were
brother
calling-
goes, "Don't wear that hat anymore." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because it looks like you're just the biggest Trump supporter." I go, "It's a
my
red
God.
hat.
You can't
It
wear
says
red
USA."
hats.
He goes, "You can't wear it."
Look how powerful the media is. The media is so powerful that anybody wearing a red hat that says "Make America Great Again," it can get punched.
Except for Colby
Sucker
Covington.
punch. Dude,
well, I don't know if it's the media that did that. It just
Isn't that crazy that by supporting a president, like publicly supporting the president, you can actually put your life in danger, especially in particular cities?
Yeah,
In
and
California?
that is funny to me because
That's
I would
crazy.
understand if Trump was like literally a horrible person and that, but I feel like then the actual due process to remove him would be simple and that he would literally have some really decent evidence against him. But this whole process of them trying to say all these things about him, nothing's really stuck.
The Russia
And-
collusion isn't even a discussion point anymore because they've got nothing on it.
Yeah. And yeah, to make
So
the
crazy.
country so turned against
Yes.
itself and
Yeah.
the words actually make America great again. And the color thing, I get that. That's kind of weird. Like you don't want to gang colors and whatever, wear whatever colors you want. But
But the fact that wearing a MAGA hat in like LA or San Francisco could get you jumped or even like killed, that's so crazy.
it is weird.
That's crazy.
But this is not going to last. Like
No.
the truth will prevail. And I believe that very strongly.
Well, and that's
It's a huge learning opportunity. This whole thing is it's exposing so much. We don't even know exactly what's it being exposed and what really is going on. And again, hindsight is going to be really good. And this is year 2020. We're supposed to like get all this clarity and all of this vision and understanding about what's going on. And I really believe that is going to happen. And to see that these guys are about to like talk about QAnon right now on this
Yes.
show.
Are you in it?
Literally
Are you into it?
Millions of people watch this show. Like this is the show that people who feel like that they really know what's going on are watching.
right.
And I'm not saying anything against people, and I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm human. I make judgments, and I'm sorry. But like, this is powerful, and it's important for us, I think, to watch what these people are saying, almost word for word, because just like the media, these guys are the media, and they are major public opinion page turners. Like they are making opinions for people. And that's the dangerous part about this whole thing, is that people's opinions are being formed by what they're watching on TV and by what other people's opinions are. And that's okay sometimes. That's kind of human nature. I feel like that's
Right.
like a survival tactic.
Right.
But to do it all the time and not even realize that you are parroting the opinions of the people on TV is I think why we've gotten into kind of such a mess. And this is a behavior and a thing that is going to be kind of worked out of people. And I know the kids, like all on TikTok and everything, they're still working through that too. But some of them, more and more, the younger they get, are less moved and
Yeah.
informed by the news. And they are more informed by more random media and other people making YouTube channels and stuff. Like they watch YouTube channels and TikTok, and that's their news for the day.
Yeah, the next generation is not watching CNN or Fox.
No, most of them don't have TVs, and most of them just have Netflix. Like nobody even really has cable anymore.
Well, and that's why it's cool that I like that you follow these YouTubers who are influential and like observe how they're evolving within themselves. And I've observed this through watching her watch these people that are like, you have these YouTubers who have millions and millions of followers, and it's cool to watch them go on their spiritual journeys.
Yes.
Like, and I know this is a super side rant, but I just want to mention this real quick, like the Dolan twins.
Oh yeah.
Like I was blown away. Like at first I was like, oh my God, these are just some like
Modeled.
like bros and
Bros.
like a silly YouTube channel. Like I'm not, whatever. But after watching a couple and watching like how
They
like
process things.
empathic and intelligent and like heartfelt they were,
Yeah.
and like how much they truly cared about their following. And then recently They literally just moved into a van. Well, kind of. They bought a Sprinter van, made it their own
Renovated
conversion,
it. Yeah.
and drove it across the country. And we were like, oh my God. Like, we thought it was so funny because they were going through all the, major van life obstacles that you go through when you
But
first
they
start.
did it in like a month.
They did the hardest thing they could have done. They built the van themselves, and then they did a cross-country road trip as fast as possible without knowing where they were going to stay or anything. They like totally jumped into it. But that's so inspiring to their millions of followers to do something like that. I thought it was super cool. But anyway, unless you want to say anything more on that, let's get back to the video.
Okay.
All right.
They're going to get into...
They're getting to it. He's about to talk about it.
Okay.
Of
I
course
only have
it
so
was.
much
People's
patience.
reaction to
No,
those hats.
It's
No,
anti-Trump.
the media-
The hat.
the
It could have been a
media-
black hat.
No,
It could have been
but
whatever hat.
all the anti-Trump stuff comes from the media. It all comes from
Well,
the media.
it comes from the media
Yes.
because of what we were talking about earlier. It became their business to talk shit about Trump. And they thought by doing that, they were going to sink him. They really did.
Yeah.
But they didn't realize how resilient he is. Like,
The boy's
a lot of
gangster.
them-
Say what you want about him.
It's not
A lot
just
of the
about
people
Trump.
pretty
Hey,
cool
it wasn't just Trump. Trump was recruited. There's good people.
Okay, we're going too deep.
Okay.
Dude, how about I went to
No,
that
it was.
comic
He
that
was
I think it's
recruited.
Comics
There's
Pizza?
there's a plan.
How do you know this for sure?
Because I'm into it every day, man. Just
how does
follow
that-
Q.
but how do
Follow
you-
Q. Q is
But how do you
100%
know
right.
that they're right?
Because everything that's happening right now, we knew about
They've
it 2
called it.
years ago. We knew about all this shit, the FISA declass, all this shit, all the people that are going down. We knew it. It's still going on right now. Q's dropping right now. Q is Trump and the people around him. It's an intelligence dissemination program.
You know who believes in all that shit? Pat
It's true.
Miletich.
It's true.
Pat
I mean,
Miletich.
of course.
He's got a thing called Conspiracy Farm. He's got a podcast.
Q is real, dude. Q is real. It's 100% real. All Q is they're dropping info to the people, the patriots, the people who really want the best for the country. Not the loony left. They don't want the best for the country. The left.
What do you think the loony left wants?
The
What do
loony
you think
left
they want?
right now, all the top
should
of
be
the
a
loony
t-shirt,
left,
by the
the
way.
top
Yeah.
of the loony left, the top of them, they're all going to go down for some shit.
Okay,
It's
what
not
do you
just Hunter
think they
Biden.
want?
It's not just Hunter Biden.
What
it's
do you
Pelosi.
think they want, Eddie?
They want world war. They want, you know what happened? Remember 9/11. The day before 9/11, Donald Rumsfeld makes an announcement that the Pentagon is missing
Yes.
$2.3 trillion.
Right.
Guess what? There was going to be a lot of investigations going on. People were going to go down for that. But guess what? 9/11 happens and no one brings it up. So if we have a world war right now, those people won't go to prison. What would you rather go? You rather go to prison or World War?
This is your theory.
This is the Q plan.
But do you think
This
the
is what's
World War
going on.
and
So do you
what
think
would you
that
rather
Nancy?
have?
Hold on a second. You think Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton, all these people got together and said, "Hey, we're going to go to jail unless we start a world war. So let's collude."
No,
start a
I'm not
world
saying
war."
no. They're not. They didn't say let's
They're
start a
not
world
in.
war, but they want. It's a lot more complicated than that. But do they want a world war? Do they want another 9/11? Fuck yeah, dude. You don't think Biden wants a World War III?
Trump doesn't, though. I don't think Trump does.
Dude, have you seen the video?
Biden wants to be president.
Have you seen the
Yes,
video?
that's it.
Have you seen the video of Biden at the CFR? You've seen that video of him bragging, doing quid pro quo.
Yes.
That's what this is all about.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I know a handful of people who are rather influential Q reporters who are probably crapping their pants right now
Right.
about this happening, and I'm happy for them. I
Well,
really
because
am.
these guys probably know who they are because
They freaking
clearly
do.
Joe knows.
He just said
what-
that there's YouTube channels, people talking about Q,
Yes.
like this is a thing.
And to me, clearly Joe knows
Joe knows.
about this stuff. Like you can tell.
'Cause he was
I
like,
mean,
"That's too deep."
If you even know who Joe
got
is,
scared.
like as a person, Joe used to be he used to be like how Eddie is now publicly, like
Yeah.
super conspiracy
Well, they
theory
look like
public,
the
doesn't give a
same
shit about what other
person.
people say, and he got controlled. He like there was a point where like maybe 5 years ago where his show took like a major turn in what he was allowed to say, and he started bashing all the conspiracy theories. He started publicly denouncing what he had previously said, and that has changed in the past 2 years. It's like his control has been lifted and he's talking about truth again, but he's doing it in a tactful way where the majority of his fan base is not going to attack him, because Joe's thing is he is the observer, right? He's like the devil's advocate guy. Like he's just there to provide a counter point of view and like get to know what your point of view is.
Which is good.
Which is good. And to me, you can totally tell that like he supports Trump because he's not bashing him. He's saying positive things about him, but he's not coming out and saying like, I support Trump, because that would be, the media would turn on him. They'd flip on him and his show would crash, and he knows that. So it's crazy to see this, because this is the closest thing he can do to supporting Q, by putting a video on his channel that literally says QAnon is real, even if they put Eddie's name in front of it. That is so significant.
Well, how many views does it have?
It's got 233,000.
That's it? Okay. Well,
Well,
we'll
and
see.
you know, that's probably being manipulated as
but
well.
Still, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see who else is going to start talking about Q.
Well,
And it wasn't negative. He didn't go,
No.
oh, that's stupid,
No.
or anything. Because
Well-
even just saying, oh, that's stupid, coming out of Joe's mouth, that's what people will feel.
Right.
And will say over and over and over and over and
Right.
over, like an army of brainless people.
right.
And it's sad, because I want people to think for themselves. And that's the battle we're working on.
Yep.
I know that might be, again, a judgment, and I don't want to be negative or anything, but it's frustrating sometimes when it seems like a lot of really intelligent people I know are very closely watching this, because it does seem to be very imperative to what is actually going on in this shadow war that never really ended after World War II.
Right.
It has continued. The drama never stopped.
Right.
There was never a place of like peace. The drama just got more and more intense, and we are living through one of the most incredible times on this
Oh my
in
God.
the drama of
seriously.
the earth. And there's plenty of times where the drama has been incredible and intense, but I think this is maybe the actual time where it's going to be coming to a positive resolution.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time coming, so
Yeah.
that's really cool.
So we won't play the rest of the video, but as it goes on and they get deeper into it, Joe eventually says, I can't talk about this. Like, we have to talk about something else. He says that like twice. First, he says it casually, and then he says, guys, I can't talk about this. And they
Dude.
change the conversation. And what's cool
That's
is
a good surprise, baby.
the what?
That's a good surprise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad. I'm glad you liked it. I was hoping
I
you were
really
gonna like
liked it. I would never have
Because
guessed.
I had pulled up another Joe Rogan video to put on the show
I
that
was
she
so
was like,
mad.
I don't want to have Joe Rogan. We can't have a podcast on our podcast. I'm like, what's wrong with that? Like, I want to
That's
talk about
tacky.
this. This is an influential
It's true.
thing.
Now I'm going to become just a solely Joe Rogan podcast
Well,
reviewer.
We gotta watch this whole episode. I haven't seen it yet, but I saw another clip from
Oh
this
my
episode
goodness.
where they talk about the Vatican, and they're talking about how the Vatican is actually Luciferian at its core, and that Catholicism is Luciferian. That's not one that I had pulled up. That
my
you were
gosh.
like,
Oh yeah, well, because I was like, maybe we won't
because it was
highlight that.
yeah, kind of dark, but you know, we have to combat the darkness
next
to
episode.
bring in the light. Yeah, but anyway, go check it out if you want to see it. Just look up Joe Rogan, it'll come up. But they showed the main chamber hall. Well, first the one that looks like a snake. You know, they designed that hall. Have you seen that? It looks like a snake's face with the fangs and everything.
Yes, I have.
And then they showed the main like church hall or whatever where you know, he's got the Pope has his throne, and they have Jesus and like all this stuff going on, and they're talking about how it's like not a good depiction of Jesus. It's like Jesus with like, it's very dark. It looks like demons are like pulling him down. It looks like he's like, this looks like a Slayer album cover. This is not Jesus. And I thought that was really important, because something that we've that's been coming up a lot lately
Yeah.
is how okay, so when I say the Vatican is Luciferian is a very vague term, I realize. Generally, I mean like when I say people are Luciferian, like they worship what would be considered demonic entities or satanic entities. Lucifer, Satan, demons are all just labels, right? But whatever
Antichrist.
these forces are, whatever you want to call them, the upper echelon people, the Vatican, worship those things, and the worship of these entities is all about inversion of truth. Luciferianism is all about inversion of truth. So what's the biggest inversion of truth you can do for, say, somebody like Jesus, who I believe was a real person, who was a very magical divine being, who was sent here to teach us how to be more like him and more like Christ consciousness? What's the biggest way to distort that if you are supporting demonic entities? Well, it's first to use that that image in its most negative, grotesque form. So what is and I'm sorry if there's Catholics out there that take offense to this, but I feel very strongly about this, and I'm not saying Catholics are bad.
No.
At all. Like, I'm saying the upper echelon powers of the Catholic Church are rooted in this. And so anyway, so what do you do to Jesus?
There's a compelling case.
Yeah.
And it's showing because it seems like all of the articles lately are the Pope and the
Right. Well,
I
think
the
everybody
Vatican
knows now that
are having blah 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 problem.
I feel like everybody knows that the Vatican's full of pedophilia.
Yes, and
that's just rampant.
Because people have experienced it and are talking about it.
But anyway, so what I want to get to is like, what is their personification of Jesus? Well, it's like Jesus in his dying state,
where he's been vanquished.
Yeah,
he's
like,
been overtaken.
Why would you choose
humiliated?
Why would you choose to show your Savior, the person that you love, in a light that has them like in their dying state,
tortured?
Not rather than being like in a meadow or like with, giving people things or being magical and like positive. So inversion of truth is what the Luciferian cults are all about. They want to tell you exactly the opposite of what is real, basically, or invert very basic truths.
So we didn't put it in the podcast, but we did.
I know, I'm sorry. I had to talk about it anyway. It's just like, it's really important.
This is why I love Jace, because he will talk about these things and he really, we've talked about it many times, but I think it's funny because I'll be like, please, I don't want to talk about this right now. And then you're like, okay. And then you just like go right into it. So some of us just need that,
Some things need to be brought to the surface,
And that's why we made a podcast. So now
so
everyone gets to hear about it and gets to weigh in on it, because we want to hear what you guys think about it too. And
yeah,
because it's important. People who are forming public opinion need to be watched very closely, and I think also have their power taken away from them and more equalized across all of us. And that's why I want you guys to make podcasts too, and I will watch them. So, okay, great news, great surprise, great segment, great choice. I appreciate you making that a surprise for me. I love surprises.
I love you. You're welcome.
And what's next?
So next we have, I'm pretty sure, the Justin
you.
Bieber story.
Oh no.
Which
this one I've been dreading.
Oh, I know. So
okay, first of all, can I start?
Yeah, please go.
So Justin Bieber was one of the first people I ever saw in concert, totally by accident. It was very divine. Like, someone was like, let's go to this concert. I'm like, who? Oh, Justin Bieber. That's weird. Okay, let's go. And the amount of energy this little person was able to harness from the thousands of people in this room was beyond me. I had never been to a concert, to be fair, but the amount of like energy I was feeling, like I wasn't even that attuned and aware of what I was capable of at that age, but I felt it. And I was like, holy crap, this is incredible. How is he doing this? How is he able to even do this, like, dance for that many minutes straight? Like,
clones.
It was blowing my mind. And the level of screaming and energy was being produced by the people in the room. It was very noticeable, and I will never forget that feeling. And I've been following him loosely, I would say, since then. And I've been to another concert of his when he got a little older. I've seen his movie, the Never Say Never movie, and I've had multiple dreams with this celebrity and personal, like me in a private area, checking on him and talking to him and being like, everything's okay, how are you, things like that. And I haven't had dreams like that with many other beings at all. And recently, Kanye West has come up. I've been in a dream with Kanye West a couple times. Trump has been in my dreams a couple times.
Trump's been in my dreams too.
So dreams are a whole other topic. But recently, Justin Bieber has released a song called Yummy, apparently.
Album, right?
I
think
it's just a song. I might be totally wrong. See, I'm not that.
I think it's the whole album. Because everything he's posting is #yummy.
I know, but it might just be a song.
Okay, maybe.
We might have to fact check that. Fact check us. But again, it was blowing up in our community because he on his Instagram was posting images of babies with hashtag yummy, and some of them were even in weirdly, I would say, even suggestive poses. Like, as a baby, in my brain, there's no such thing as a suggestive or sexual pose of a baby, because babies don't know what the heck they're doing. They're just doing things, babies are cute, they do cute things. But in this context, it was really weird. And it was weird to me because he's never really given me that impression that he's kind of creepy. A lot of celebrities definitely have given me that impression. And as we all know, a lot of these celebrities have dabbled in pedophilia and weird. And this is part of the weird control structure of Hollywood. And this is all coming to light. I'm sure all of you have already heard about this, and this is no new news. But to hear it and see it from Justin is strange to me, and I personally want to believe that maybe he's bringing this to light. In a way, he's making this more public and making it inflammatory, so people do speak up more about this stuff, and it's still a relevant topic. And so, would you mind sharing what?
Yeah, so in addition to the pictures of the babies, like babies,
Yeah.
With the hashtag yummy, this is one of the Instagram pictures that he posted
Of the album.
of the album or single Yummy. I'm pretty sure it's the album, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's a single.
But if you're familiar with the current state of rampant pedophilia, the cult pedophilia, or I should say that the pedophilic cults within like Hollywood and the music industry, and Washington D.C.
There's lawsuits and people getting arrested for it right now.
Yeah,
publicly.
And so a big part of this is Pizzagate, and Pizzagate was of course the thing that came out in the 2016 WikiLeaks drop that showed pretty dang in your face that very significant people in the government were emailing with known pedophile lingo
codes,
and it got the name Pizzagate because pizza was one of the biggest nomenclatures used in the emails. And so there's a lot of misinformation around.
So what did pizza mean? Do you remember?
Pizza, I'm pretty sure is
something, or
like
just child.
I think it's just child. Yeah.
So people are basically ordering food and using names like hot dogs and ice cream and pizza. I don't know if ice cream is one of them, but that's an example. Simple American foods, and they were actually ordering kids.
Yeah, or like hot dogs is another one. Like in during the Obama administration, in examples, they ordered $100,000 worth of hot dogs, and
which is a little weird.
The decoding. I don't remember if this is with the FBI or who did this investigation, but hot dogs are like male strippers. So first of all, the White House is not really allowed to have outside food, but $100,000 worth of hot dogs. Anyway, that's a side thing. But the I want to say the Pizzagate thing. That name, I know that triggers a lot of people because when they think Pizzagate, they think, oh, it's that Comet Ping Pong that guy shot up because he thought they thought Hillary Clinton was running a pedophile ring in the basement. The media really narrowed down on their story. They really got a very specific thing to refute and make the conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Pizzagate was never really about Comet Ping Pong or like there being trafficking directly in the basement. Like that was never the focus of it. That was always a side thing.
They made it into pizza places being a place of pedophilia instead of pizza being a code for pedophilia.
Right. And Comet Ping Pong was still...
or sex trafficking, I should say, in another term.
Comet Ping Pong was still...
Still creepy.
Really like a part of that because...
it was in Washington.
They were doing trafficking, and James Alefantis, it was in D.C., and James Alefantis, who was the owner of Comet Ping Pong, had an Instagram where he was posting really, really pedophilic imagery and lingo, like constantly. Like,
so this is also happening on Instagram.
What?
This is now also happening on Instagram.
Yeah.
Justin.
So Pizzagate. So pizza is the symbol when it comes to pedophilia. That's a huge symbol.
Yeah.
And so to see this on top of the baby pictures was just a little creepy.
Yeah, it was really in my face, especially like, what the heck is this? It was disgusting to me. And also, since I had a background with this particular celebrity in my own like little life, and it was very concerning, but also it also was like, what is this? I need to know what am I being shown here? And I really hope that I hope that this is going to be enlightening. And
I hope you're right.
I also have a suspicion that my friend, whoever Justin is, really has also been a victim of being exploited as a child. And I also felt that when I saw him there on the stage. And they made him into basically a sex symbol when he was a child. And really, it was hard to watch. And so watching him also go through his transition into adulthood and everything, and how it was rough a little bit. He's now about to put a whole YouTube series about an interview series, I think, or a docu-series about his life the last few years, and kind of explain what he's been going through. So I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open for that and watch his own explanation of what's going on. But this was really, it seems almost out of place. Like, it doesn't even feel like it's really him doing this. It feels really out of place, but we want to use it for good. We want to enlighten people that the pizza thing is not cute, and it does seem to point in the direction of this not great behavior of people in Hollywood and in humanity. And it's concerning and an alarming thing to see. So whatever this is going to unfold, I really hope that we're going to get some more clarity on this, and I'm not going to allow my bias for this person to smear my judgment, as many people may do. And I think he's probably one of the most well-loved celebrities maybe in the world. He is probably one of the most popular, well-known people. Yeah. And so if he is going to be the one that's going to expose this through this thing, he may be the easiest to forgive in a weird way. So that's where my mind's going with this.
I hope you're right.
I am really an eternal optimist, so I really want to spin this either way for the enlightenment of humanity.
Well, and I do feel at the core that, like, Bieber is not a bad person. He himself. Mm-hmm. So whatever we're seeing here, who knows what this is? Who knows who controls the social media?
Exactly.
Who knows, there's ways that they can have copies of people out there that aren't actually you, right? Like
or they're blackmailing him, like doing this
exactly,
or something
he's
weird.
He's being controlled, manipulated.
Who knows? Because he was maybe planning to expose it, and then they're like, "No, you're actually the sicko." Or the games, the mind games are very deep with this whole thing, because all the real pedophiles don't want to be exposed, and they don't want to be exposed for what they did to these celebrity children. And blah, blah, blah. Like, they want to keep their secret because that's what they're good at. They like the secrets.
And just to segue from there, we were originally going to talk about this in our show, and then we decided, it happened too long ago, but I do want to bring it up. The Golden Globes in relation to this, because it ties in, right? Because I know there might still be people out there who are watching this who are not familiar with the extent of, like, the pedophilia in the cabal or the deep state or whatever you want to call them, the Illuminati. The dark forces that like to control things. Ricky Gervais,
the critters.
Ricky Gervais' monologue at the Golden Globes was insane. Like
yes, it was.
I know a lot of people probably watched that aren't aware of that stuff and thought, "Wow, that was pretty funny." But like, it was so much more than funny. In fact, I don't think a single thing he said in his monologue was actually a joke.
I didn't think it was that funny. It was just like shocking to me.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, they just called them all perverts.
Yeah.
And that they all know Jeffrey Epstein, and that
right. They say Apple uses slave labor, and then they pan to Tim Cook, and he's just like
yeah.
So what's interesting to pay attention to in that video is who they show on camera the most, what celebrities, because Ricky was reading off a teleprompter, right? So what does that tell you? That NBC knew what he was going to say. That wasn't like a surprise. That was planned. All those camera angles were planned. And the person that they panned to the most that I noticed was Tom Hanks. And did you see how uncomfortable Tom Hanks looks? And I know this is this is tough for a lot of people to hear, but Tom Hanks, in my opinion, research, conclusions, is one of the biggest, let's just say, pedophiles in Hollywood, sexual abusers.
You can't fully claim that, but you can say that it appears.
Yes, no, I'm saying this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is truth. I'm saying based on what.
Because those are big claims too.
Yeah. I'm saying based on what I've seen, based on what Isaac Cappy said. Isaac Cappy being the Hollywood whistleblower who was suicided in 2019.
Yeah, but his thing's even suspicious too.
Yeah.
Him and what he's up to.
Yeah, but still, like the way that,
I know.
The whole thing is weird, but there's a lot of weird things about Tom Hanks, and I just think it's important that
that they were panning to him a lot.
That they panned to
there
him
was
and his
intention.
discomfort. Yeah, major tension.
Intention.
Yeah.
Behind like the camera work.
Yes. They also showed Ellen a lot.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Tiffany Fitzhenry has a great series of articles about how Ellen DeGeneres is actually a deep state agent. Tiffany Fitzhenry is a Hollywood whistleblower that is doing amazing work to uncover a lot of this stuff in Hollywood.
Shout out to Tiffany.
And Ellen, she points out that Ellen is one of the biggest agents within the deep state in Hollywood, and they showed Ellen a ton that night. So, yeah, it's important to see who they pan to because they're giving us hints. They put this stuff out. They did it in a way that people could integrate through comedy. The comedy is one of the best ways for people to integrate information.
Yes.
Because they'll listen to it because it's funny, as is. It's a great psychological tactic to help deliver information to people when they might otherwise be opposed to it. And I think they're really planting seeds for the collective right now. So,
yes.
Yeah, that was awesome. I really enjoyed that show.
It is nice to see that there are seeds being planted and that these things are being pointed towards instead of us just in the background all talking about it, but it not showing up in popular culture. So it's good to see that this is now showing up in popular culture. It is becoming more blatant. It's becoming more of a talking point, and it's just going to continue to snowball, in my opinion. And we're all a part of it. So keep your ears and eyes open for this exposure. Be extremely critical. In my opinion, I think that's very important to be very, 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 very critical, because even the people they're going to throw in our face, I have a feeling, are not the biggest culprits of this. And it's potential that the biggest offenders of this thing may not be known for many years after all of this really kind of blows up, becomes public knowledge and whatever.
Or may not even be known
ever
to people now. Like the biggest offenders are probably people we don't even know their faces or names.
We do not know them. I totally think that makes sense, because that's the smartest thing to do. If you're going to be deep in the shadows, you must not be seen.
And one thing that Q has really told us about all this is that, like you're saying, a lot of these people that we know their names and faces are really just puppets that are being controlled by the higher forces who we don't know. And we can't always blame these individuals for their actions, because a lot of them are very directly controlled in what they do.
They are also, a lot of them are also victims themselves. And this is a classic cycle of abuse. And we really are trying to break the cycles of abuse. And it's not going to be, it might be a messy process, but I personally am committed to having it be done in this lifetime. And I'm going to participate in any way I can to break this cycle of abuse on this planet. And I think that we're both committed to that. And we work on it every day to truly, even with our own dog, trying to break those cycles. And it's hard because the cycles, and it is so deeply ingrained in our society. It's actually crazy how much it's really in there. And we're all just walking each other through this. And I'm grateful for the people that I know and have met and have created a community around to have these conversations and also be a part of the solution and be a part of the healing. And I think that's really important, and what is a passion of mine personally. And fun fact, I have a lot of astrological placements in my personal chart that are like talking about the darkest things, the most occult stuff and bringing it to the light. It's literally in my chart. I was literally born for this, you could say. So I'm happy that it's happening in this lifetime because it gives me something, it gives me purpose, it gives me something to do. And I think it's only going to get more and more intense this year, which is probably why we have started a podcast, because I have a feeling that the content is going to be flowing, and I look forward to participating in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Well said.
And with you, of course. My love. Is there
It's
more?
gonna be fun.
Is there more?
Well,
there anything
I really
left?
like what you said about how this is about the ending of cycles of abuse. Like,
Yeah.
we're sharing this information not because we like to dwell on the dark,
No.
but because the dark needs to be exposed for the cycles of abuse to end. And as divine sovereign beings and stewards of this planet, we will not tolerate darkness manipulating people and having its way. So we bring these things up because it's about bringing
Awareness.
humanity back to balance and awareness. And children are such a big part of it, saving the children.
Yeah.
There are a lot of children out there that have been not treated.
Including
right.
you and me.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. We're all on a path of healing. So this stuff is being brought forward because these are things in the collective that we're going to need to heal and that we're going to need to face as a collective. So it's important to talk about, and I like that we can talk about that and still like maintain a high vibration and sense of wellness and health.
We're doing it with love,
Yes, exactly.
I think.
Yeah.
And truly, I want to send love to all of the people and beings that we talked about in this podcast. And I think love is really the answer. And it's what we want to continue to bring and encourage. So I want to do this lovingly.
Yes.
As tricky as it might be.
And we love you all.
And we do
There's
love
so
you all.
many amazing.
And this was a labor of love for sure. We brought all of our goodies, a lot of our trinkets, and not trinkets, but really honestly sacred things that we've collected the last year. And we want to send this energy to you because we've gotten a great opportunity to live a year really as free people. And we learned so much, and we learned how to love even deeper. And we want to bring that energy to you, and we want to grow with you and not hide anymore, hide ourselves away. We want to really step up and try and do something of impact to humanity and share our love with all of you. And that's why we want to add funny, goofy things into our podcast and, shuffle it in with some really deep, deep stuff. Because we love you, and we love all of it. We love it all.
Yeah.
In a way.
Love you. Camera's over there.
I love
I
you.
just noticed you keep looking over here.
I'm looking at myself.
No, I
I'm
know.
looking at you.
The
I'm
people over
looking
here.
at
We're
the
gonna get used to
camera.
this.
They're mostly just listening, really. Let's be honest.
Well, with that, let's end on our last fun note. I think you've got something to share with us, right?
I do. So, I don't know what I am. I'm like one of the last years of a millennial, and I think you're one of the first years of the next Gen Z.
I don't know. It's all labels.
It's a little labely, but in our community of people, there is a meme culture, and things are happening. Boom, 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 every day. The funniest thing is new and happening every day, and this is one of the newest, funniest things that I've seen, and I think it's appropriate for us and our love and our affinity for animals in particular. So I thought we'd share that for you as a finale. And thank you all very, very much for sitting with us through this podcast. We'd love to hear your feedback. Please like, share, subscribe. Reach out to us, friends and family who actually saw this. I know you're watching this. I know you know us, and we want to hear how you feel about it. We want to participate with you. If you want to have your creative content also on our show, like we did in the beginning, please reach out to us. The information is in the description. You can email ascensiondiaries@gmail.com. Is there any other finale things that you'd like to say before we finish with our little piece of cuteness?
I think you said it.
Okay.
Thank you guys for watching. If you're still watching through all this, major gratitude to you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
So let's watch the funny video. Man walking his parrots in public. Is there volume? Oh my gosh. That's all it is. Let's see if I can make it bigger for people.
It's so good though.
It's so grainy, but
It's so grainy,
hopefully
but
you
it's
can
so
see.
good. Basically, if you can't tell, I'm just going to narrate for you. There's this guy who's somehow managed to like put leashes on their 2 parrots. I think they're macaws, really. And yeah, these parrots are flying in front of him as he's running behind them, trying to keep up. And somehow the leash and everything is not getting tangled, and these birds are getting a second to fly. It's a little dark in a weird way, because like having pet birds, I think it's kind of twisted sometimes, but sometimes it's too late, and now you have to care for these birds who live to be like 70.
Let's hope that they're rescue birds
Yes.
and that's the most flying that they can do,
Yes, and
like health-wise.
sure.
That's
At
they're
least they're
having the
getting
time of their lives right
something,
there.
you know. But yeah, it looks like everybody is having a great time in that video, and that brings a smile to my face. So these are the things people are doing and putting on the internet out there, and it's not all conspiracies. Some people are just like, yeah, I'm gonna try and walk my
I'm gonna
2
run with my
giant
parrots.
birds, and someone from their car is gonna film me, and then it's gonna get 1 million views on TikTok, and every child between the ages of like 5 and 20 is gonna see this in the world. So there you go. We
All
wanted
right.
to make sure you're in the loop.
Hope you enjoyed that ending. Thanks again for being here with us,
Mhm.
and we will see you in the next episode.
All right.
Much love.